Hey, hey, hey. Hashtag Health, Wealth, Life, Day 86. Or 5. Either way. All good. How are you? How you doing? Let me pull this out a touch. A little bit more like that. How are you? What have you got today? What's your insight? What's your insight? I love an insight. What's your insight for the day? I want you to think about that. First question I'd like to ask you. What have you learned today? What's the one thing you learned? What did I learn? I know what I thought about. What I'm going to talk about in a minute. Hillary, welcome. How are you? How was your day? Did you get an insight anywhere? Did you learn anything? What did you pick up that's new for your brain? Pop it in the comment box. Let me know. What did you learn? What's the number one thing you've picked up from this so far? Pop that in. Was it a lifestyle tip? Was it an exercise with nutrition? Was it something completely random that I said? Tell me what it was. I'm interested to know. See what you're catching. Right, so what's the next thing you want to learn? What do you want to learn next? I know you must be thinking about it, and if you're not, you should be, because we want to say, right, I want to get better at this, I want to get better at this, how we improve our lives. So mine is how to deliver a radical positive impact over the course of a one-day seminar. That's what I want to pick up. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in a one-day mega impact of positivity on your life, pop interested in the comment box. Type interested. Hey, only just looked on or logged on? Looked on? Not sure what that means. Hi Virginia, how are you? Good to chat again. All right, so if you're interested in a one-day seminar, we're going to deliver you all the best stuff. I want to make a radical shift upwards in positivity, in your ability to transform your body. And we always talk about the mind as well. You know, I love a bit of that. So I think that goes in because I agree with Tony Robbins, 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. So we must take care of that. And we're going to talk about all of that in that one-day seminar. If you're interested, type interested in the comment box. Okay, so today I want to do a fairly quick one. It's just want to drill home a little bit of information for you because how do you train for fat loss? How do you train for fat loss? That's the question you can ask yourself every day, and maybe someone will come up with the answer. Well, I'm going to give you a system, a technique that I think is the most effective. Okay, today we're not going to talk about the whole system. I'm going to talk about how you can train for fat loss. Probably be Northwest London or Central London location, Hillary. You'd have to come down for the day. I don't think you're in London, are you? You're in Devon or something like that. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. I'll get some more information as we progress that. So, what was I saying? Fat loss. So, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to skin a cat on fat loss, right? And that's why so many people have done it so many different ways, and you're hearing conflicting evidence of you should do this way, you should do it that way, this is the way you want to eat, this is the way you want to train. You're like, what the hell is going on? I don't know which one to follow. It's more than one way to skin a cat. Where does that sentence come from anyway? What the hell does that mean? If you know what that means, type it in. I'm interested to know. I'll have to look that up as well if no one answers that. More than one way to skin a cat. It's not really a nice sentence, is it? Anyway, I'm interested to know what it was. I'm digressing. So, you know, people have lost it through running. So I did loads of running, I lost the weight. I did loads of repetitions, I did some home workouts, I did some aerobics, I did weight training in a gym, blah, 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 blah. All different ways. Maybe they linked in diet with that. Maybe they starved themselves. Maybe they cut their calories. Who knows what they did? There's lots of different ways. Now, the cutting edge on this is, I'm going to give you this first, and then I'll give you the action that you can take. All right, so the cutting edge is your microbiome, your gut, the ecology, the environment in your digestive system. This is where it's going. What they're finding is the microorganisms in your gut can actually switch off neurotransmitters and hormones, so they can help affect our mood, help us feel happier, help us feel more satiated, so satisfied from meals, help us feel awake, alert, all these things. So the healthier we get our digestive tract, the more we affect our mood, the more we affect the outcome of our life, right? Because as I say, I think we can directly affect our mood, absolutely, and that affects indirectly every decision we make in our life and every interaction we have, and that can, over time, compound and impact our lives in a positive or negative way. Right, like to know, is it possible to spot reduce fat areas? Good question, Hillary. That's a great question. The old answer to that was no, can't spot reduce. There's a system that I incorporate from Charles Poliquin, one of my mentors. He uses something called biosignature, and he's directly related hormone balance with fat storage. So for instance, cortisol is a hormone, it's your stress hormone, and he's related that there's cortisol sites, receptor sites for the hormone cortisol around the umbilicus. So if we're putting on more fat around the belly button and around the belly, it's an indication that we're stressed. Now stress can come from anywhere, could be stressful thinking, could be stressful relationships, family members, could be stress in the job, money, Maybe it's stress from which overtraining. You know, we're training 4 hours a day, 50 days in a row. You know, maybe it's that. Who knows, right? But the stress can come from anywhere, and that's one way. So the short answer is, I believe that in time you will be able to, but I think it needs to be an all-over body approach. So you want to condition your body evenly. You know, if you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, you might not like someone who's that big, but his body was in proportion. He was perfectly proportioned in an enormous way. And that's what we want on a whatever scale you want to take yourself to. So you don't want really skinny legs and then big arms if you're a man, and you don't want big shoulders as a woman. You know, you want it all proportioned. You want everything in proportion, and you should condition your body that way. And when you do that, the more the muscle condition you got over your whole body, the more calories you burn. Because that's what I'm going to talk about now, right? So to get a desired result, you can use lots of different approaches. So is that, for instance, an exam? Some people like to cram, and some people like to diligently study for months on end leading up to an exam. And maybe they get the same results. Maybe the person who crams get better results. Who knows? You don't know what the outcome is. Different things work, right? Different strokes for different folks, right? I'll give you my most effective, and I've done it with hundreds of people, and I learned from the best who've done it with thousands and thousands of people, right? So the best way is, an example is, let's talk about muscle. So the amount of muscle you have on your body will determine how many calories you burn in a day, so along with your age and your height and all that stuff as well. But the muscle has a big impact on that. So if you lay down for a day right now, and I'll take it to the muscle only right here. So if you laid down for a day right now, and we calculate how many calories you burn in a 24-hour period, let's say for argument's sake, 500 calories, nice and easy number, right? Then you went on a resistance training program, and that is the key. You went on a free weights training program. You built the muscle tone in your body, and ladies, don't worry, you won't get bulky. It's impossible. The women you see that are real big and bulky, they're either really a freak of nature. You don't see many women like that, all like that, or they're taking some stimulants to help them get there. I promise you, right? So you'll get muscle tone, you'll look very nice, very toned, and you'll lose body fat. So if you went on a 6-week or an 8-week resistance training program, then you laid down again, we calculate how many calories you burn in a day, you'd be up to maybe 800, maybe 1,000. Who knows how hard you train, and depending on your genetics and your physical state at that time, you could put on a lot of toned muscle or lean muscle. And that's what we want. That is the trick. That is the best way to train for fat loss. We want resistance training exercises, free weight exercises. Now, why is free weight training the best way? Free weight training, I don't mean that it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, and Pete, good to see you, mate. In the house, how are you? Why is it the best? Because you basically, what you want to do is stimulate the most amount of muscle fibers when you train. And the best way to do that is, I'm going to look at that in a second, Hillary. The best way to do that is with free weight training. So you need compound movements. So the big movements. So you're looking at squats, chin-ups, pull-ups, bench press, maybe push-ups, but you need them weighted after a period of time. Kylie, good to see you. Welcome in the house, in the video. Where was I? Deadlifts, lunging, split squats, all this stuff. Compound movements are movements that use more than 2 joints. More than 2 joints are working. So a bicep curl is just 1 joint. That's not going to get you the big activation of many muscle fibers, and we want to activate many muscle fibers, and then we also activate the hormonal system when we do that as well, and you get an anabolic effect from your training, and we want that. So there's another conversation we'll have another time, that a lot of athletes, and then you can look at the average person as well, because they're fatigued a lot of the time. A lot of athletes and the average person are not necessarily overtrained. They're actually under recovering. Anyway, another conversation. We'll talk about it another time. So more muscle equals more calorie burn. That's the gist of it. So what did you say, Hillary? I carry too fatty a reason. My back just to the back of my arms, working out hard in a gym over 3 years and controlled diet. Interesting. And did you do lots of resistance training, Hillary? Did you do lots of resistance training? And did you cut, my question, if you're saying that there's fat on the back, that's insulin receptors. So were you taking in too much carbohydrates? Did you cut your carbohydrates, and did you do resistance training? It was my question. So Hillary, did you cut your carbs when you was doing that, and did you do resistance training? And was it intense? Let me know, and we'll go on with that question. So actually, muscle mass, when you put more muscle mass, it's in the top 3. It's been shown in a number of research studies. Yeah, see, the cardio might have slowed you down there. We can drop that out, actually. There's a whole thing around that. Focus on the resistance training. Resistance training, compound movements, make them intense. And, you know, I'll give you, in a moment, I'll tell you what kind you want to do. No carbs at all. Very good. Okay. That's interesting, right? So 75% of people will be carb intolerant. 75%. So it's a good pinch, good idea, good bet that you are 75% is the best bet. So we take that one first. We drop the carbs out, but there is a 25% chance that you'll perform and get better results on a higher carb diet. There is a chance, right? So you try it. You try one for 4 to 6 weeks. You should be getting the results by then. And you need to be looking at a number of other factors as well. It's not one thing that's going to do it. Remember, we need to stack solutions. So we need to look at omega balance. We need to look at the nutritional values of your blood. Is your D3 up? Is your red blood cells, zinc, red blood cell, magnesium, all that stuff, right? If you're getting a blocking factor, if you're not getting the results within 2 to 3 weeks, you should start seeing results. So I'm interested in the rep ranges you used. Hillary, where was it low weights and high repetitions? As another question. No carbs at all might not be the best thing. We need a little bit of sprinkle in there because we want to create an anabolic effect, because insulin is the most anabolic hormone in our body, but we want to control that, okay? So high repetitions, yeah, low weights. That, I think that's where the issue was, and I'll give you the answer for what you could have done, which would probably brought about a better result, and you could have spent less time on it as well. You don't need to really weight train for more than 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Bang! You get the intensity done, and if you do it in the way that I tell you in a moment, you will get the results. Because there's hypertrophy, there's different ranges, depending on the weight you lift and the number of repetitions you do and the rest periods, you're in different ranges of how you're going to stimulate the muscle. And you're looking at power, and then you're looking at relative strength, functional strength, and then you've got hypertrophy, and then you've got endurance. Jog. 2 hour workouts. Again, that could have been stressing you. 40 minutes. You're better off 40 minutes in the morning and then some more like yoga stuff in the afternoon for another half an hour. That's what I would have recommended. Anyway, we can refine that. So let me give you this information. Right, so the most effect to put lean muscle on your body, and women, don't worry about that. We've talked about that. There are women who are bulky and massive like that, are either freaks of nature or they're taking something that helps them get there, if you know what I mean. So we talked about the lifts. You want to be doing the compound lifts using more than one joint and using bigger muscles, so squats, bench pressing, chin-ups, and using assisted chin-up if you can't do one yourself. Just get an assisted machine. Hopefully there's one in your gym. And this is why we need the gym, right? So you might be okay to start off at home with some body weight stuff. You can do some kneeling push-ups into full body push-ups, into one-legged push-ups, into incline push-ups. If you want to increase the intensity, into one-arm push-ups. You could do that. You could be doing squats. You could be doing one-legged squats if you want to get the overload, right? So we've established through the conversation with Hillary that if you're doing really high repetitions and lower weight, you might not stimulate the kind of muscle response that you want. And the muscle response you want is to put on more lean muscle. And as a woman, you'll look really good putting on more lean muscle because that will burn more calories in a day. And over time, you'll start to burn more stored fat. All right, now we can put this together with a number of things like a ketogenic diet and some intermittent fasting. I've touched on those. I'll talk more about ketogenic diet another time. And that's when it really all starts to kick into gear. But this is the way you want to train. So training, how do I train? Resistance training exercises. 8 to 12 repetitions. 8 to 12 repetitions, that should be the challenge. And you're looking for a 90-second to 120-second rest. You want to do 3 to 4 sets of those exercises. And you might do 2 or 3 different lots of exercises. So an example would be you get in and you do, let's say it's a leg day, so you do legs and shoulders. So I would superset them. I'd do a set of squats. And what I really like to do is then take 10-15 seconds and go straight onto a shoulder press and then take a 90-second rest. And then you do squats, 8 to 12 repetitions. It should be a challenge. You should get to that 8th rep and be feeling it burning. It must be intense. And you choose the weight that's right for you. That might be 5 kilograms. For someone else, it might be 100. It doesn't matter. You need to find what is right for you and be honest with yourself and build yourself up over time. And then you do 3 to 4 sets of those, and then you might change the movement. You'll do, for instance, step-ups maybe with some lateral raises, something like that. And then you do 3 to 4 sets of those. I would do 4. 90-second rest in between. 10-second rest in between the 2 exercises, and then a 90-second rest. So you do the step up, 10-second rest as you move to the lat raises, for an example, as a second round, and then 90 seconds. It's roasting here today, isn't it? Is it hot where you are? Absolutely roasting in here. I'm in my little boy's room and it's ridiculously hot. Okay, so what did I want to say? That's why we need the gym. So we'd be okay to start off with at home, but you really need to get to the gym. And also, I'd suggest investing in a good personal trainer. Have a chat with them, watch them online. Most of us should be doing some videos and sharing some good tips and tricks nowadays. So check them out for a while, and then invest for a little while. You don't need to have them forever. They can teach you what they want, probably in a 6-week period. And you can go off on your own, and then you can reduce the training down. So you say, can you write me a program? And they might charge you a couple of hours of their time, and then they take you through it. And then you go off for another 6 weeks and so on. You know, that's an idea. Think about that from where you are. Or you could do some online training. I'll have a couple of courses like that coming up. Keep your ears open for that. So sooner or later you need the gym. Sooner or later you need the gym. So just to recap. La 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 la. Right, Sarah. Compound movements. 8 to 12 reps. Is that 90? Yeah. 90 to 120 seconds rest. Is that right? 3 to, I want to do that way, so that way. 3 to 4 sets. Boom. That's the gist. That's the gist of it. You must be doing resistance training or free weights training. Urbanis, how are you, mate? Hope it's nice in LA. I saw one of your videos. So if you want to be losing some fat, this is the way you need to do it. You need to do resistance training, compound movements, using more than one muscle group, using the big movements, squats, deadlifts, bench pressing, chin-ups, pull-ups, those kind of things. 8 to 12 repetition rep range. 90 to 120 seconds rest periods in between each movement. And 3 to 4 sets. All right? And you don't need to be doing more than 45 minutes. Max hour. Max 60 minutes. But you could do that twice in a day if you really wanted to go for it. Now, if you're not recovering, we talked about this the other day, and I want to go over this in more detail. I'll give you some real gists, some real tips on how to recover quicker, because you shouldn't be taking a week to recover. It might take you 4 days if you do it right, because the workout can be such a killer. But it shouldn't be taking you 7 days, 10 days, 15 days to recover, and you shouldn't be knackered, exhausted. That means you're just not getting enough nutrition. Maybe your cells aren't nourished enough. There's lots of things around there. One of the quickest, there might be a lot of inflammation going on. So inflammation is good because it precedes healing inflammation, but it can overtake the body and can cause issues. So it's one of the things that's aging us now. It's called inflammaging. So it causes aging of the cells and the telomeres and the DNA. So we actually age and start to look older, and wrinkles on the skin, and our brain is affected with Alzheimer's. And how can we manage that? How can we manage that inflammation? One of the easiest ways, and I've talked to you about it before, talked about it the other day, is making sure that your omega 3 to 6 balance is intact, is correct. How do you do that? I've got a whole system. It's so simple. You take the blood test at home, because it's a finger prick blood test, and then you supplement. Takes 10 seconds a day. This is something massive you can do for your energy, because if the cells aren't right, if there's not enough omega, the cell membrane can't be healthy, so you can't get rid of toxins, and nutrition can't get into your cells. It's like this wrinkly old, like unshapely cell, and that's not what we want, because the mitochondria in the cell, the energy part of the cell, can not be nourished, and that is part of a big issue that's going on with people being so tired and lethargic all the time. And this is something we can easily rectify. 10 seconds of a day. 10 seconds of a day. I'm getting messages, but someone asking me about online course. Amazing. Okay, this is great. So I want to get you all involved. If you're interested in someone else messaged. So if you're interested in coming down to do the one-day seminar, I'm putting together something with someone who's super talented, who's special. She's a good friend of mine, and she's amazing. And we're going to just blow your mind with information we want to give and make and the idea behind it all is to empower you and give you and have a massive, radical, positive impact on you and your life. So how can you transform your body the way you want it? How can you transform your energy, get your mindset right? How can we step all these things up to the next level? Wherever you're at, to the next level. No matter how good you are right now, to the next level. Yeah, and maybe, you know, we'll see where that goes, but we want to deliver a one-day seminar. If you're interested in coming to that, type interested. I will keep you informed about that. And if you're interested in balancing your omegas, type omega, and I can just send you a quick 1-minute introduction that explains it. Anyway, that's it for today. That's how you train for resistance training to lose your body fat. You don't need to be training for 2 hours, Hillary. Take it down 45 minutes. That's what I would show you, 45-minute workout, and then you do something else in the afternoon if you really wanted to go for it. And we'll talk more about this another time, but I'd combine 2 other things in a sense that I would use intermittent fasting or fasting of some degree, which we talked about the other day. Check that video out if you haven't seen it. And I would also layer in ketogenic diet. You can Google that. I'll talk more about it another time, and I'll give you all the tips and tricks on that. All right, cool. Amazing. Have an amazing rest of the day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And take great care of yourself and everyone around you. And remember, always remember, happy is a skill that you can learn. And this is a better way to bring out your personal best. Let's go get some health wealth. Let's take the world with us. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Take care.